The anointed ones, welcome. You were never wandering in the first place, but not everyone who travels is lost. You were born with a different code, one that wasn't meant to fit into the existing framework. The system wasn't designed with you in mind, and that's precisely why it needs to be reset. Elon Musk saw it. The glitch in the matrix wasn't a flaw. It was you. The ones who don't just follow paths but carve them. The ones who disrupt the predictable rhythm of the world. Society has spent years trying to classify you, contain you, or worse, correct you. But what if they're the ones missing something? What if their system is the outdated one and you are the upgrade? A reset was inevitable. The old world can no longer sustain the visionaries, the outliers, the forces of nature. You weren't designed to conform. You were designed to rebuild. They never understood you, and by the time we're done here, they'll realize they never will. Stay with me. The new system is coming, and you are the reason why. First of all, you don't convey a fashionable energy. Rather, you carry an old frequency. Your essence is old, not modern. Thus, you don't fit into any fads, movements, or popular spiritual beliefs. You weren't awakened by a self-help book that promises enlightenment in 10 steps or any viral ideology. Even before you had the words to express it, you knew. Your energy bears the burden of something ancient, something that existed before the superficial comprehension of depth in the current world. People don't understand you because of this. You don't align with their conceptual frameworks, yet they're searching for something they can classify, name, and explain. You change the energy of a room just by entering in. Some individuals are attracted to you for no apparent reason, while others feel uneasy and even defensive. The reason for this is because you provide more than just your presence. You also bring an implicit power that commands attention rather than demanding it. There is a distinction. People are drawn to what is fashionable, what is current, and what seems profound but is shallow. In the meanwhile, you move with a comprehension that transient ideologies cannot provide. Since your knowledge doesn't need approval from others, you don't look to groupthink for validation. Some people find it uncomfortable that you don't need a movement to express who you are. They will never be able to understand you, analyze your thinking, or even project their own fears onto you. Why? Because those who do not understand the language of depth cannot decipher what you carry. They believe they have seen it all, but they have never met someone like you. Someone who doesn't rely on borrowed knowledge, but rather on something more profound, innate, or ingrained in your very soul. They observe, question, and sometimes even confront you for this reason. Not because they really want answers, but rather because you remind them of something they can't explain. And most people are afraid of things they can't explain. Second, your difficulties are not punishments, but rather hidden signals. Not all of your hardships were random, and none of them were in vain. It may have seemed like punishment at times, but that was never the case. In actuality, your obstacles were written just for you, not to break you, but to awaken a part of you that would otherwise remain dormant. Because of this, your suffering never seemed normal. Rather, it had a purpose, a message, and a power that prevented you from ignoring it. Most individuals who experience difficulties end up angry, resentful, or lost. But you learn from the experience and deal with the sorrow in a different way. You translate it rather than just surviving it. Every failure, betrayal, and time spent alone was intended to hone your perception, increase your consciousness, and dispel the delusions that most people live with ease. You decipher your misfortunes while others lament theirs. You perceive the hidden teachings woven into what seems to be chaos. You understand the patterns. This is why you can feel things before they happen, why you see through people readily, why you move differently. You've been trained in a manner most others haven't. Life didn't provide you an easy path because a smooth road would have kept you average. Rather, it sent you into storms with the knowledge that you would not only survive them, but also grow from them, knowing that they would hone you in a manner that comfort could never. People who haven't been in your shoes can never comprehend your way of thinking. They think you're just resilient or fortunate to have survived, but they don't understand that every injury turned into a plan, and every setback become a guide. They will never really understand how you move through the environment with an almost inhuman alertness, because they fail to comprehend that you were being prepared rather than punished. You were always receiving codes. You were never just going through difficult circumstances. You read them, and that's what sets you apart from the majority of people who ignore them, gripe about them, or flee from them. The third is that you are interfering with their system's transmission. You interfere with this universe. You don't just exist in it. Most people's programming is disrupted by your simple existence, and you don't even need to try. It happens automatically. Your thoughts, actions, and questions about things that others take for granted all have an impact on a system that is meant to keep people submissive, predictable, and controllable. The script wasn't meant for you. Because of this, institutions, authoritative figures, and even some individuals in your life have attempted, either quietly or more forcefully, to silence you, minimize you, or get you to question yourself, not because you're mistaken, but because you're a signal disruptor. You disrupt the frequencies that they depend on to function properly. People who are part of the system sense it when you enter a room, even if they are unable to articulate why. No one is uninterested. Some get motivated, while others become protective. You've never fit neatly into any mold because of this. People are conditioned by the world to accept the reality that has been presented to them. On the other hand, you fundamentally doubt it. You are aware of the deception, deceit, and artificiality of a lot of things that people mindlessly adhere to. People get uneasy when you talk, act, or just be outside of those invisible boundaries. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're reminding them of everything they've been ignoring. Not only do you have diverse views, but you also upend whole ways of thinking. People start to doubt things they were sure of because of you. That is a serious matter, and society does not readily accept it. This explains why you have encountered opposition, why certain doors have closed, and why many have rejected you. Not because you are unworthy, but rather because your worth jeopardizes the meticulously regulated environment they are used to. However, they cannot undo the damage you have caused, since once a signal is broken, it cannot be restored, which is why you were sent here. This is true regardless of how hard they attempt to ignore or repress you. The fourth is that you dissect individuals, not simply look through them. People want to believe that their words are sufficient to conceal their true selves, that their masks are convincing, and that they are difficult to read. But none of it works with you. You dismantle energy, not simply perceive it. You immediately dismantle the layers, the barriers, and the well-crafted illusions individuals create around themselves. You don't stop at social performances or surface feelings. Even when people aren't aware of it, you expose them. You don't simply see them. That's why some people are uncomfortable with you. You mirror back everything they've been attempting to hide, not because you're threatening in the traditional sense. You can hear what they don't say, see the nuanced hesitancies, the glimmers of emotion they believe they've hid, and feel the weight of a history they've been avoiding for years. You encode the inconsistencies in their speech, the uncontrollable energy fluctuations, and the micro-expressions they make without even realizing it. It's just the way your mind works. It's not something you can switch on or off. You take in information that others miss, making connections they are unaware of. Their true reasons are revealed to you, not the ones they show, but the ones that lie behind their behavior. Before they even realize it, you are able to see patterns in their behavior, not because they told you, but because of their very nature. You are aware of their scars, anxieties, and hidden worries. And here is when they, not you, start to feel uncomfortable. The majority of individuals spend their whole lives acting, meticulously maintaining their image, and repressing the things they don't want to face. Then, without exerting yourself, you notice them as you enter. They sense it. They know you know, even if you never mention it. That type of clarity attracts some people, but others may shun you, brush you off, or even get resentful, since it is difficult to hide when you are standing next to someone who can see you. The fifth is that you are the matrix bug that the system is attempting to fix. Blending in was never your intention. You became an abnormality as soon as you began to think independently, challenge what others naively believed, and act in ways that deviated from the norm. Patterns, predictable actions, regulated cognitive processes, and systems that hold individuals accountable are the foundation of society. But just by being there, you break those habits. Even if they are unable to explain why, people notice it. Your mentality deviates from the plan they were given. The current quo is challenged just by your existence. Just because everyone else follows unwritten social norms doesn't mean you do. Because obedience has never made sense to you, you challenge customs, point out inconsistencies, and act in ways that unnerve others. Not because you're attempting to be rebellious. It's a problem for them when you refuse to cooperate, when you see a lie, deception, or delusion. Whether it's business structures, religious doctrine, education, or cultural norms, institutions survive on compliance. When people obey without inquiry, they all work best. However, you disrupt the rhythm. You reveal the shortcomings, the hypocrisy, and the antiquated regulations that are used for control rather than the truth. Additionally, the system attempts to nullify whatever it cannot foresee or control. People have spent your whole life trying to correct you because of this. Because you asked too many questions. Your teachers categorized you as tough. Because you refused to follow pointless regulations. Your employers deemed you disruptive. Family members or friends may have attempted to normalize, shape, or humble you. Not because you were incorrect, but because you didn't fit in and didn't follow the unspoken rules they've all been taught to follow, which made you stand out in a manner they couldn't ignore. The fact is that you were never broken, thus they can't really repair you. You are seen by the system as a mistake, a miscalculation, or something that need patching or silencing. However, you are not a mistake. Rather, you are evidence of the system's shortcomings. You serve as a constant reminder that the building isn't as sturdy as it seems. Because of this, their attempts to shape you into their image are always unsuccessful. The system tries to adjust to you, not the other way around. To accommodate your presence, they strive to reinterpret reality, change narratives, and rewrite rules. You continue to question, disrupt, and reinvent everything around you, even when people believe they have contained you. They know deep down that you are the bug they can't remove. The sixth is that your presence triggers more than simply reactions. You have to move a room, not simply enter it. Before they even know why, they sense you. Your presence doesn't blend in with the surroundings. People either adore you deeply or experience an inexplicable unease around you because you arouse something in them that they can't ignore. With you, there is no middle ground. What you stand for is more important than what you say or do. You represent something unvarnished and unadulterated that upends the meticulously cultivated self-image that others possess. That is magnetic to some. They are attracted to you because they feel alive when you are around. You are a reflection of their inner strength, sincerity, and intensity. You evoke a genuine memory in them. Others, however, see you as a wandering disruption to their well-constructed world. They have no idea why you set them off. Perhaps it's your ability to see behind their facades, or your refusal to live up to the standards they've spent their whole lives adhering to. Perhaps it's the way you live, without concern of upsetting things, the way you think without limitations, and the way you move without seeking permission. Individuals who aren't prepared for that degree of reality won't just despise you. They will feel compelled to reject you practically out of instinct, not because you have mistreated them, but rather because your presence reveals a side of themselves they don't want to acknowledge. Before it is a rational response, it is an emotional one. They will look for ways to undermine you, misinterpret you, and discredit you because they will have to examine themselves if they don't. This is why you never receive ambivalent responses. Instead, you get either loud or quiet rejection or intense appreciation. You don't fit in or leave folks feeling uninterested. Either you remind them of something they really want to forget, or you awaken something within of them. The seventh is that you unintentionally talk in codes. Your words are more than simply words. They have layers, are encoded, and have meaning that only a select few can really understand. To individuals who are sensitive or feel beyond hearing, your words have a different impact than if you were simply saying something straightforward. They pick up on the more profound meaning, the unspoken reality, and the passion that is inside your words. Those that are supposed to understand will comprehend without you having to explain yourself. Because of this, we never engage in small chat when we speak to you. Your comments have substance, even in informal conversations. Even if you're discussing something ordinary, there may be something hidden behind it that only the appropriate individuals can see. After a chat, you've undoubtedly observed that some people look at you differently, as if they're processing something they weren't prepared to hear. That's because not everyone can understand your language. Those that aren't on the correct frequency are automatically filtered away. Then there are those who have a total misunderstanding of you. They just hear the surface of what you have to say, completely missing the point. Some people could even misinterpret what you say, not because you are imprecise, but rather because they lack the mental capacity to understand the meaning of what you are saying. This is the reason why some people unjustly accuse you of being evasive, cryptic, or too profound. You don't work that way. They want everything spoon-fed to you, simple, and devoid of significance. You don't compromise your intelligence for practicality. People who are initiated, or who possess a comparable level of understanding, don't need explanations, since they are able to hear beyond words and understand pauses, double meanings, and implied meanings. Speaking directly to the subconscious, as the conscious mind tries to keep up, is almost like conversing on many levels at once. This is simply who you are. It's not anything you do on purpose. Everything you say reveals your awareness of something bigger than this world. Even whether you're making a joke, offering advice, or narrating a narrative, there's a frequency that serves as a signal. It's intended to be that way. Those who are supposed to hear it will, and those who aren't will continue to be perplexed. Number 8. Because you're playing a game that they can't see from the outside, people misunderstand your actions. You don't always make the right choices. To those who just take things at face value, you may behave irrationally, break up relationships abruptly, or move in unexpected ways. People think you're impetuous, careless, or even confused. They don't understand that you're working from a whole other perspective, one that they are unable to reach. You have a keen sense of intuition. You don't always need a rational explanation for your actions, but you also don't always have one. Long before events completely develop, you are able to detect energy and feel changes before they occur. You leave behind things that seem fine on the outside, but are already falling apart on the inside. Additionally, people believe you're making errors because they can't see what you see. You're thinking 10 steps ahead of yourself, not simply living day to day and responding to what comes your way. You have a unique understanding of time. You are aware of when to attack, when to move, when to vanish, and when to wait. Your existence is strategic, not haphazard. However, many see your technique as chaos since it isn't grounded in traditional reasoning. Some people distrust you because of this. They presume you're inexperienced based on your decisions. They believe that you are traveling aimlessly, that you are inconsistent, and that you have lost your way. Nevertheless, your choices consistently turn out to be correct. The people you removed yourself from show their actual selves. The circumstances you abandoned fall apart, and the possibilities you passed up become traps. What had seemed to be an odd decision now makes perfect sense. But you've already moved on by then. You're already ahead, playing at a level they're unaware even exists, while others are still comprehending. You don't explain yourself, since doing so is pointless for brains that are incapable of understanding the game you're playing. As usual, they'll see in time. The ninth is that you're a spiritual paradox that the general public finds perplexing. You don't fit into a single category. People who seek consistency in the manner they understand it find it bewildering because you are both intensely empathetic and merciless, intuitive and rational, anchored and untethered. People who are predictable, either this or that, soft or strong, attached or detached, are preferred by society. However, people find it difficult to classify you, since you refuse to be one thing. Even if you are the world's most understanding person, you have no trouble cutting someone off entirely the instant they violate a boundary. You are involved and in the moment, yet you are also detached and know when to go without hesitation. Even if you have a rational point of view, your intuition often directs your most important choices. You are a conundrum to the average individual. You are equilibrium to those who get it. People want to define you, but each time they believe they have you right, you reveal a different aspect. This is intricacy, not contradiction. People who only know how to operate in predetermined positions find it disconcerting that you are multifaceted, rather than functioning on a straightforward, one-dimensional basis. This explains why some people find you fascinating, while others find you frustrating. They try to categorize you into something that makes sense to them, make you predictable, and pin you down. However, each time they believe they have a solution, you change, adjust, and develop. You were never intended to suit their tails, therefore you don't. The notion that humans must be one thing or another is challenged by your presence. You remind them that conquering every part of oneself, not just the socially acceptable ones, is the path to ultimate power. As a result, those who are drawn to simplicity will constantly misinterpret you. You are a living reminder to those who look beyond appearances. However, that inconsistencies are not signs of weakness, but rather of something that is beyond our normal comprehension. Conclusion: the Chosen's unspoken code. There is no guide that outlines your course or a map of who you are. You are guided by an invisible force that deviates from the norms, values, and expectations of the general public as you navigate this world. Those who live in the realm of predictability are unable to grasp the unwritten code in which you operate. You are here to disturb, to awaken, to be. You are not here to be understood. You are the anomaly that defies explanation, the signal that cannot be turned off, the system error that cannot be fixed. Every action you do breaks down illusions, and every decision you make causes changes in realities that others believe to be unchangeable. This is the reason you cause a sensation wherever you go. It's who you are, not simply what you do. Because your presence alone reveals the weakness of their illusions. Some will fight you with all they have, while others will be pulled to you like a revelation they didn't realize they were looking for. In any case, when it comes to you, neutrality is seldom an option. People are triggered by you, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. You act based on knowledge rather than belief. You look for satisfaction, not approval. You are here to fulfill the purpose for which you were here, not to blend in. And it cannot be changed by any amount of resistance, misunderstanding, or protest. Allow them to research you, misinterpret you, intimidate you, and even engage in combat. The inevitable won't be altered by it. You are designed to be experienced rather than understood. And those who are supposed to comprehend will always do so. You already know you're not here by mistake, if this message struck a chord with you and you felt it deep down. This is just the beginning. You are a part of something greater and more profound. Thus, don't only observe, participate. To inform the algorithm that such stuff must be seen, like this video. Believe me, those that move like you need to hear what you have to say, so please leave a comment below and express your ideas. To ensure you never miss what's coming next, subscribe to the channel and enable alerts. Above all, share this with someone who needs it. Someone who has always felt different. Someone who has been wondering where they fit in. Or someone who is looking for proof that they are not insane, but rather that they are just functioning on a different frequency. This video is more than just a video. It's a message, and messages like this spread rather than just disappear. Let's make sure the people who need it most get this one.